Hi, my name is Fatima Alaraji, and I'm here presenting the Industrial Upcycle Revolution. The Industrial Upcycle Revolution is here to combat problems such as appliance and device waste. A lot of people will go through this thing where, for example, your air conditioning breaks or your dishwasher breaks, and you're like, well, I don't want to pay like $700 to have some technician come in and then just end up recommending me to buy a new one. I believe me and my team, we believe that everything could be fixed. And if it couldn't be fixed, if it's not like worth people's time, then it could be scrapped to then be reused in one way or another. A lot of people believe that, um, our objective is to, well, obviously, like, save people money, combat environmental impact, like lessen your carbon footprint, and also reducing waste. I believe everything can be reused one way or another, or recycled in a way that doesn't end up in a landfill or not. And we do this by taking in people's, old or used technology. We fix it with things, with components from the manufacturer, or you know tested components that have been recycled from other things, you know. And if it's in perfect condition, then why not, right? Uh, there's a reason why you shouldn't just use things that are from a couple decades ago. There's certain things that are important now, like grounding chips and plugins. And so, if this KitchenAid, for example, which now and then actually back then too was a couple $100, these appliances are very expensive and should be totally fixable. So if it's a quick change of a cord and rerouting another grounding cord to it, uh, you know why not, right? We want to stop this internal pressure that a lot of individuals feel from overconsumption. We want you to stop keeping up with the Johnsons. Eventually, your Wi-Fi carriers will no longer carry regular Wi-Fi and only carry 5G Wi-Fi. But things like your flat screen TVs that you purchased probably like 5 or 6 years ago will no longer be compatible. So instead of purchasing or spending $1,000 on a new TV, we can just open it up, switch out the component, add in a new component, and boom, now you have another 10 years of life into this device. And the only thing that's wasted is probably a small component about this big instead of a big 75-inch flat screen TV. So, what it would look like to reach our services. The emergence of the industrial upcycle revolution challenges traditional societal norms of overconsumption, but also providing opportunities for reducing individuals' environmental impact, like previously mentioned. We would take in everything, not necessarily like, all technologies like, Nintendos or your toaster or your air conditioning, your refrigerator. We would take it all, anything that's been mechanized or, an electronic as well. It would look as easy as one, two, three, four. Our services would be as straightforward as our menu. Our locations would be strategically located around accessible and urban areas, which is, around major schools and universities like ASU Tempe. And we would also use postal services for people sending and receiving items, and services from us. Our target audience would be students and the working class. Here's a comparative analysis with three companies already doing something relatively similar. I would think the person similar would be Geek Squad for Best Buy, where they do fix electronic devices that are not, originally purchased at that retailer, but they don't um, fix clients' electronic appliances with recycled components. And this is to combat like client financial responsibility. And nor do they pay clients for repurposing their devices and electronic components that could still be reused, where, industrial upcycle revolution will. Excuse me, here's our revenue model. Our experienced associates would be responsible for researching market value of electronic mechanical components. Clients that are selling their property would be offered one-third of their market value cost. This is a reasonable and common percentage found in a lot of resale shops. And when reusing components for clients looking to have their devices fixed, it would be sold at market value. I think this is fair, and no one would be ripped off. And this also would, help pay our experienced associates in the meantime. We would also work with universities in a way of, by setting up kind of like a cooperative organization, and we would incorporate students and then hopefully like the Industrial Upcycle Revolution shop as part of their curriculum. And this could be done either as, by the university as a lab or a grade. This can help students learn industrial desired skills, learn a wide variety of things that are recognized, and work together as a team to solve unique skills and hard problems. Here is our go-to-market slide where I would start working at ASU Tempe campus. I would move working with all campuses. I'm talking Polytech, downtown, and west, and also incorporate all the community colleges within that slide too. And our last major slide, how we're going to hit it big, is probably working with all major universities that are in highly dense and populated areas. I'm talking, NYU, I'm talking Berkeley, I'm talking, MIT, Texas Tech. Get to know our founding team. There's me, there's David Leal, who is an engineer. He leads with a more sustainable approach, but he would like to advance technologies. And Mark Rosbach, who is an engineer, a peer of mine also, who has a lot of experience working as a machinist and a technician as well. Thank you. I appreciate you guys taking the time to learn about the industrial upcycle revolution. Bye now.